Good afternoon to the students of Ananda Multimedia School and College on the online class on the chapter of voice. Today we know voice. At first we know what's voice. Voice means to express the manner of a verb. So voice are divided into two sections. One is active, the another is passive. Active voice means the doer of verb is active, it's called active voice. Passive voice means the doer of verb is inactive, it's called passive voice. To understand clearly, I just example here. I eat rice. Rice is eaten by me. So here we see that I is doer. So this sentence is called, or this verb is called active voice. Do you understand? If you don't understand, I just elaborately discuss to understand of these topics. Who eat rice? If you question the verb, by what words we find rice? Who eat rice? I eat rice. Then rice is eaten by me. Who is eaten rice? We don't find who it is eaten rice. So here subject is inactive. So at first we know in passive voice we know how to change from person tense. How to change from subject to object. For example, I in objective from me, we in objective from us, you in objective from you, he in objective from him, she in objective from her, they in objective from them, it. In this way, we can change the person in passive voice. Do you understand? Then we discuss the structure of passive voice. How to change from active to passive. In passive voice or voice, one point must in your mind: what is object? Object is most necessary for voice chapter. So at first we use here receiver, or we use here object as subject. Then if there is given auxiliary verb, we must use here. Then we use here be verb, then verb 3, then extension, then by, to, for, at and others or etc preposition, which can be set with their familiar words. Then we use here object as subject. Do you understand? Then we know how to use be verb. Be verb is most important in passive voice. At first we know how to use be verb in voice change. Only main verb in a sentence. In what way we can use here? Sometimes we see that in a sentence there is given only main verb, and sometimes at after these words as or es. In this way we can use here am, is, are, as or es, and the pp form of verb we can use here pp from verb. Do you understand? If the verb is first from, we can use here verb, be verb according to sentence and tense. Be verb. If there is given of that sentence is be verb, we use being after be verb. We use being after be verb. For example, I am eating rice. In this sentence, we see that am is be verb. Am is be verb. How to use be verb after am, is, are, was, were? So at first we use here rice. then matching verb is, then we use here being, the past participle from eaten by me. In this way we can change be verb after am, is, are, was, were. Do you understand? Then we go to how to use have verb. Have verb means three verb: have, has, had. Have, has means present tense, had means past tense. So in this way or in this respect, how to use be verb? We use been after have verb. To understand clearly, I just give an example just looking on the board. I have eaten rice. So how to change it? It's very easy. At first we use here object rice, then have verb. Here is the matching verb has according to subject verb agreement. So we use here has, then we use here been, then B3 eaten, then by, then object from of I. Do you understand? At first we use here rice, then have verb we use here has, then be verb change into been, then verb 3 from eaten, then by plus objective from of I. Do you understand? Then we discuss how to use be verb after modal auxiliary and am to, is to, are to, is going to, this type of verbs. Do you understand? Now we know how to use be verb after modal auxiliary and am to, is to, are to, is going to. Please see with very attentively, because this rule most important. Sometimes we feel hesitation about this point. So example, I shall eat rice. I shall eat rice. So how to change it? It's very easy. At first we use here object as subject, then modal auxiliary shall, then be no change. Be always remain here unchanged, then verb 3 eaten, then by the objective form of I, me. In this way we can change modal auxiliary and am to, is to, are to, this type of words. Do you understand? Then we discuss how to change the ing form of verb, the ed form of verb of other parts of any sentence after verb. So one point always keep in your mind, voice means object most important for passive voice. Do you understand? For example, he knows a boy reading at Dhaka University. We see that here the ing form of verb after main verb. So in this respect, how to change it? It's very easy. Don't feel hesitation just looking on the online class and try to understand. If you don't understand any point, just comment me. I am ready to solution any problem which is very critical for you. Okay? At first we use here a boy, then ing form of verb and other words. So reading at Dhaka University. Then in what way we can use what types of be verb in this sentence? Do you understand? Only given here main verb. In what way we can use here main verb? So according to subject verb agreement, we can use here is or be verb. Do you understand? If you don't understand, please again question me. We use here is according to subject verb agreement. So is known. Then we use here two preposition according to their own words. One point always know, sometimes we see that some preposition can set with their own words. In this way we use here to. Then we use here the objective form of he is him. So now we finished the another rule, which is the ing form, the ed form, but d form of parts of any sentence, how to change passive voice. Then we discuss any extension in any sentence, how to change it. So before beginning this chapter, always keep in your mind what is extension. Extension means if you question any verb by what or whom, if you don't any answer this type of words, it's called extension. Do you understand? If you don't any answer this type of words is called extension. To understand clearly, I just an example how to understand extension. I see a boy in the field. If you question see, what see, don't answer. See, we answer here a boy. Then we don't find the answer in the field. But we question the verb where I see a boy. We answer of this question we find in the field. In the field is called extension, so we don't change it. It always remained unchanged. This type of words is called extension. Do you understand, all my students? I hope. Then at first we use here a boy. Then we use here subject verb agreement is. Then we use here seen. Then we use here extension in the field. Then by the objective form of I is me. Understand, all of us? At first we use here object a boy. Then is according to subject verb agreement. The B3 from seen. Then extension in the field. Then preposition by. Then the objective form of I. Do you understand, all my students? Okay. Now we discuss how to use direct object and indirect object. If in few minutes before we understand what is object, especially in any sentence we find two kinds of object. One is direct, another is indirect object. Do you understand? The one is indirect object, the another is direct object. Indirect object means person and direct object means things or materials. Do you understand? So in this way we can change voice in two ways. So in short time, so I just introduce you one rule. For example, I give him a flower. So there are two objects. One is direct, the other is indirect. Indirect object him, the direct object a flower. So how to change in this way in passive voice? It's very easy. Just looking on the board and with very attention, because voice is critical subject in your English grammar. So at first we use here direct object a flower. Give It is the present form or present tense of verb, so we can use here is. Then given, then to or for. We can use here two kind of preposition. One is to, the other is for. So to him, then by the objective form of I, me. Do you understand, all my students? In any sentence there are given two types of voice, two types of object. One is direct, the other is indirect. Indirect object means person and direct object means materials or things. So we can change into two way. Just one way I introduce you. At first we use here a flower, then is, the B3, to plus him plus by plus the objective form of I, me. Do you understand? Then we discuss bare infinitive. How to change bare infinitive verb in passive voice. Do you know bare infinitive? Infinitive means to plus verb. Infinitive means to plus verb, and bare infinitive means only the base form of verb and to always remain silent. To always remain silent. Infinitive 2 plus verb 1, but in bare infinitive means verb 1. Do you understand? Bare infinitive words, there are few words or there are few verbs in our grammar is called bare infinitive. Let, make, see, behold, was. This type of verbs is called bare infinitive. Bare infinitive. After this verb, we always use here the base form of any verb. For example, I see a boy play in the field. In this sentence, we see that 1 and 2. There are two verbs in this sentence. We know that in any simple sentence, if we use more than one verb, we use here the other verb, use ed, ing and other forms of verb. In what way we use here play a base form of verb? Because we know that see is bare infinitive word. See is bare infinitive word. So we use here the base form of verb. The base form of verb. When we change it passive voice, we use here to before the second verb. Before the second verb. For example, a boy, then according to subject verb agreement, we use here is, then we use here seen, then to plus the second verb play, then extension in the field, then by, then the objective form of me. Then the objective form of I is me. Do you understand? Again, I repeat these rules. Bare infinitive. In generally, we know that infinitive means 2 plus verb 1. Bare infinitive means only verb 1. Before this verb, we know that 2 is silent. When we change this sentence into passive voice, we use here to. Do you understand? I see a boy play in the field. In this sentence, we see that two verbs. Verb 1 see, verb 2 play. When we change it, we use here to before the verb play. So at first we use here a boy is seen to play in the field by me. Do you understand? Next, we know how to change quasi-passive verb and reflexive verb. Quasi-passive verb and reflexive verb. I hope all the students know what is quasi-passive verb, what is reflexive verb. So this type of words or this type of verb can change into two ways. Reflexive verb, quasi-passive verb. So reflexive verb, in what way we can change it? At first we use your subject be plus verb 3 plus by plus object plus self. So I give you one example. She kills herself. She kills herself. Herself. At first we use here subject. Then according to subject verb agreement we use here is. Then the verb 3 of killed. Then by herself. Then quasi-passive verb, which verb has no object and seem to be active but in meaning passive. This type of verb is called quasi-passive verb. Do you understand? Which verb to be seemed active but in the meaning is passive. This type of verb is called passive verb. Do you understand? Okay. Rice sells cheap. Here we see that there is no any object. Cheap, no object here. So in what way we can change here? It can change into two ways, but I want to introduce you only one rules, which is called smart rules for these factors. Okay, looking on the boards with very attentively. Subject, then be verb, then adjective or adjective plus when plus it is or was plus verb 3. So according to structure, at first we use here rice. Then according to subject verb agreement we use here is. Then adjective cheap. Then when it, if the sentence is present tense, so we use here is. The verb 3 form of sells sold. Do you understand? Please, I repeat it again. Just listen and watching with very attentively. Rice. Then be verb is according to subject verb agreement. Then the adjective cheap. Then we use here when. Then it is by or was. So we use here it is. Then the verb 3 sell is sold. Do you understand? One point always kept in your mind, sometimes can be set here by, at, for, to, up according to their own verbs. Okay? So then we can discuss how to change imperative voice and interrogative voice. So today time is very short. Next class I want to discuss how to change interrogative sentence voice and interrogative sentence voice. It's very easy, just waiting, then I upload my online class. No more today, see you again. Allah Hafiz.